Is this the Teahouse podcast?
Teabaggers, join us tonight. We're joined by one of our very good pals in starting a business. It's a very awesome episode. We're going in a bit about his journey on how he started his business and a little bit on the inside where you don't really hear about. So it's really awesome to get the inside on all of that stuff. Also, shout out to Distant Culture, his brand. He'll be doing a little bit of collaboration with us at the Teahouse. Use the promo code Teahouse20 and receive a 20% discount for 1 week. So from tonight till the following episode. So make sure you get it while it's hot. Firstly, before we get into things, Teabaggers, I just wanted to quickly, once again, shout out our biggest sponsor yet, Adam and Eve Coffee. Been sponsors for a week now. And if you haven't seen it already, we've got stickers on their coffees. Go check them out. Vegan friendly. Make some mean coffee. You can check them out at 2 different stores. So there's no excuses. But we have some very exciting news. Again, I say that every episode, but some big stuff for the Teahouse and the Teabaggers watching. Me and Blake I actually got an email at the start of this week, and I screenshotted it and sent it to Blake. And then I was reading it out to other people, and I was like, it actually sounds like a fake account. Like that emailed me. It was like this weird name and stuff, and it was an email saying from Apple Podcast being like, congratulations, you've reached number 49.
Yeah.
In comedy interviews charts. And I was like,
In Australia.
I was like, this is unreal. And then
until we checked.
Yeah, until we checked before. But still, this is pretty good though.
Ranked 73 though.
6.
Fuck. Three sounded better.
Yeah. We're ranked 76 in comedy interviews on Apple Podcasts. So that's pretty fucking up there. It was pretty
in the world.
In the world. Nah, just in Oz.
Just in Australia.
Yeah, still big things though.
Yeah.
But no, I really, really appreciate it, guys. If you left a review on Apple Podcasts, helps it out heaps. And we love you. But no, we're here and we're joined by one of our very good friends, Natty Mclaren. How are you, mate?
What's up, Teabaggers?
Yeah.
The man himself. He's a designer, photographer, model. Now he's a business owner. Created the Distant Culture, his new brand, his new clothing brand, and also the worst driver in Central Vic.
Trust Blake to bring that one up.
Blake actually mentioned this before to me, and I was like, yes, definitely bring that up.
No, honestly, I don't think I've had a crash since
2 weeks ago.
Nah, it's been a
No,
couple.
I'll take that back.
We won't get into
A few
it.
months.
We won't get into
It's been
details.
a few months.
We won't get into details.
Yeah. Maybe we will later because they're actually pretty funny.
Oh, that's gold, man. Fuck, we've known Natty. Fuck, I've met Natty in
I think it's year 11.
13?
2013, yeah.
2013.
Graduated 2014, yeah.
I have no memory of
Shit.
meeting you.
I reckon it was
trying to think about it
the
before.
funniest thing as well. Like, you were mates with old mate, like the other dude. And the only thing...
I told Lincoln, keep going.
There was like... So we met in the woods class, and like we used to hang out with another dude, but like he was low key like a little bit weird, and I was like, why the fuck is Blake hanging out with this dude? Like he's all right, like a nice bloke, but just not who I thought Blake would hang out with. But then Blake thought he was my mate, and that's the only reason we hung out. And then it was literally like a few months later, I was like, so like...
What do you mean? I reckon it was halfway through the year, maybe further.
Yeah, it was ages into it, and then he was like, wait, we only hung out because he's your mate. And I was like, dude, I don't even know who he is.
That is actually so good. Did you guys like keep hanging out with him once you found out that no one was actually mates with him?
No, I don't. Only in that class.
Yeah.
Like outside of that class, he'd be like, hey, but like nothing else.
That's actually funny as fuck.
Even then, like in class, I was still like trying to get away every now and then.
You sort of had your feet.
Because he didn't even live in Bendigo. And I was like, how does this dude know this guy from like Swan?
Wood
where
End.
did he live? Wood End.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Where does bloke come
That's
from?
why I thought he was your mate, because you came on the train and you came up from
true.
Castlereagh.
Yeah.
And I like literally seen you walking together once. I remember it.
It was that funny.
Fuck, that's actually good.
Oh, pure, mate. Pure. Fuck, we've had some good ones. Good memes.
Can you remember, and this is probably like one of my funniest memories of all time, absolute like walk of shame for me kind of thing. So can you remember Schoolies? What was that 2014?
Remember bits of it, yeah.
Yeah. So Schoolies was a very bad experience for me, right? Because you go there for a main reason. You're like, yeah, I'm going to hook up with heaps of babes. And then, fuck me, I don't reckon I've ever had my ego shattered harder than Schoolies.
Oh, dude, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So this is an actual classic as fuck, right? So having a very bad run. And like Natty was fucking walking around with this massive, what do you call it?
Flat top.
Flat top, looking fresh as fuck.
Crisp.
Just everything
Highest
going
flat
for
top
him.
in Vic.
Highest flat top in Vic.
Literally, it was fucking
He
pretty
started
hard.
it. He started
He used to walk around with a comb like stuck in there all the time and shit.
I actually have a funny story about that, but you keep going.
Yeah, and then anyway, we're at this nightclub, and I'm telling you, I was on the peak of rejection here. It was getting to me head, and Natty was like, "All right, bro, I'm actually going to get you a hookup," and I was like, "Yes, the boys are
About
helping
time.
out."
It's been a week.
Yeah, and then Lincoln, I mean, he pulls me over to this chick, and then he's like, "Yeah, this is me, mate," and then she was like, "Oh, nah, maybe not." Wasn't that how it happened? And then Natty was like, "Wait, okay, maybe you do it." Maybe
So
you say.
she came up to me
Oh, she
and she was talking to me for a bit, and then like, I think because we had the stickers on and shit. It was that club that like, if you walked in, you had a green sticker meant you were single,
Yeah.
red meant you were horny, and yellow meant you were taken or something.
Yeah.
And like we both had the red sticker on, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, true.
And
Classic.
like she kind of wanted to get with me. I was like, nah, you should hook up with my friend Lincoln. I have the wrong sticker on.
Yeah. And then she literally looked at me and was like, "Oh, nah." And then Natty was like, "Come on, it's Schoolies." Says, "Come on, it's Schoolies." And she's like, "Oh, I guess so." And then hooked up with me. I was like, "Oh, that was a cheap shot," but I took it.
like, yeah.
Oh, that was fucking. I don't know if I came out like happier or sadder.
I
after that.
actually forgot about that. That was funny as fuck.
All I realized on Schoolies is how ugly we were and how attractive Natty was. That's all I realized.
I look back and I was like, I don't even know what I did wrong. Like, honestly, it was fucked up.
I think it was just a flat top. If it was shaved, it's
That flat top was like the biggest fishing rod in the Gold
Mate,
Coast at the time.
Do you actually want? I got rid of it because it got that annoying. Like I used to post statuses. Now that I look back, I was like, "What the fuck?" I was looking through my old Facebook statuses. I was like, "If one more person touches my hair, I'm leaving."
Oh my God, I actually remember you posting that status 100%.
Literally.
That's so funny.
Pure.
But back to the funny story about the flat top. Well, I think you guys know how so one day in school, someone put a pen in there and like you physically couldn't see it. Like it went missing. And like at parties and shit, people used to put darts in there. And like I'd forget and I'd get home, have a shower and like put shampoo and shit in, and then I'd like feel this tobacco and shit, and I was like, for fuck's sake. and then one day I was sitting in class and like not being the smartest kid in English, I was like just getting C's and shit, like just passing. And I was like, wait, I could definitely cheat in the exam, like a year 12 exam. So what I did was I got 2 A4 bits of paper and literally wrote out like half the answers, like a story, everything, wrapped them around a pen, put like a band in either side of the pen and put them in my flat top. And like, you know how you have to just show a bit of plastic, like your clear plastic bag, check your pockets and shit. About 15 minutes into the exam, I've pulled out the 2 bits of fucking pen because you're allowed to have blank bits of paper out to write on. So it looked like I'd written them.
Yep.
Still didn't get an A+. I got a B.
Even
I went
while
up
cheating.
1 grade.
While cheating.
And both my parents are teachers, and I told them, and they literally were like,
I'm not upset.
What
I'm just disappointed.
What have we raised?
what if you got caught? I didn't get caught though.
That is actually the best thing I've ever. That is out of all cheating ways. That's probably fucking up there.
Bro,
That is pure.
Like we've just enlightened everyone on how to cheat.
Yeah, go.
Grow a flat top.
like, I don't think many people would have thought to do that. So like,
I'm honestly
I don't
impressed.
think anyone thought of that.
Yeah, ever.
That's a new one. That's a new one. But the reason why we got you on today anyway, so we'll talk about the business, starting a business, and just like what your experiences are and what gave you the idea of it, the influence? Sorry.
Kind of like what inspired me to do it.
Yeah. My English isn't working.
Because I guess with you, you've kind of had a unique, in a way unique, but like a good experience because you haven't just randomly started a business. It's taken a long time, and it's not your first.
Long time coming.
It's not your first go at it, and yeah, we really want to learn in that way. So yeah, tell us a little bit about. Should we go into the first one or the second one first? Ooh, the first one's the bad boy.
How it first started.
Yeah,
let's talk.
We can do a brief,
overview.
long story short.
We don't
So
want to be already.
And we'll get into details. We'll get into details.
So it started probably, I don't know how many years ago, but I was doing my Cert 3 in graphic design at TAFE. So it was like the year before I went into uni.
Yep.
And we had our end of year exam, like not exam, like project. We had 8 weeks to do whatever we wanted. And I was sitting there like, fuck, what can I make? And people were like making skateboards, like other people doing like heaps of arty shit. And I remember like a few weeks before we were doing like iron print on wood.
Yep.
And like we did one thing on a t-shirt and I was like, fuck, like I kind of want to do that on a t-shirt. And I asked one of my teachers and they were like, have you heard of screen printing? And I was like, wait, what's that? And they're like, that's how you properly make t-shirts and like designs. Like you don't really use the iron print on things.
Yeah.
So I was like, looked into it, did a bit of research, and there was a few in Bendigo, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you could do this sort of shit in Bendigo. Like I thought like you had to do it overseas or like Melbourne or whatever. So I was like, all right, well, I'm definitely going to design a t-shirt or something.
Yeah.
So that's when, it was
Strange Culture.
No, it wasn't even Strange Culture. It was like Simple or something.
Oh, true.
The one that I did at
Oh, it
TAFE.
actually was.
It was like,
yeah,
it was
I
like,
remember
it was
that.
called Simple or something like
With
that.
like a dot at the end or something.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So I did that.
I forgot about that one actually.
Yeah, I literally totally forgot about that before then. But so that actually, like, we did awards and shit at the end of the TAFE course, and like I actually won. I came equal first, like winner of like the course or whatever.
Yep.
And that actually got me a like free entry into uni. So that's how I went into uni.
Oh,
true.
dead
So
set.
it's like, no, you have to pay for it, but you didn't have to apply it. It was just like straight up. They were like, you can go into uni for winning this award. And like, I never would have even gone to uni if it wasn't for that. Like, I did not even think about
So really,
going
it's sort
into
of
uni. So it's sort of, that's how it started.
And
Like, I didn't
literally
even
pushed
think
you
of
into the
doing a
career.
clothing brand or whatever. But I was like, oh, I could definitely like try and make something of this.
Yep.
It's funny because I had this conversation a lot with people too. It's crazy how like the journey differs. Like you start off with one thing and eventually it just like, it's like a snowball effect. It's like you just keep chasing something and then you
literally.
keep finding new things to chase. And then like you just like got this whole new thing and it's,
Yeah, it's just like one idea just transfers into another idea, like new opportunity. And then that's when the Strange Culture started, because I was like, didn't really like the Simple brand. But like, because we only had like 8 weeks or something, like it was pretty hard to come up with. But then I watched like heaps of YouTube videos, like documentaries and stuff. And it was like, come up with a name that kind of means something to you, or like just like has some sort of meaning towards the brand or yourself or whatever.
Yep.
And that's when Strange Culture came up, because it was like how my past, like, because I'm like, obviously I came into Australia when I was 8, and like coming from a different culture, like I thought the Australian culture was weird as.
yeah,
Like most people would, like coming from a native, like.
that's like the
from
coolest.
So like that's how Strange Culture became,
Yeah, that's sick.
because like it kind of had a meaning, and then like if people asked or whatever,
Yeah, that's
like
cool.
I kind of told them that.
Yep.
But then, so when I wanted to do it properly, so like that was back when I was just selling from home. Like I used to just put stories up, like literally made them. It was like in my bed.
This is a few years
all
ago
at
now.
home, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, who wants a t-shirt? Like I'm thinking of starting a clothing brand up. And like people would just DM me. Like that's how it first started.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, how long? Probably a couple of years. So I stopped doing that. And then how distant culture became a thing was you had to trademark the name. So that's like all businesses, like if you want to do it properly, you have to trademark it. So like I went through that process and went to put in for Strange Culture, and it was taken. And I was like,
Fuck.
like who the fuck in Australia has thought to start a clothing brand called Strange Culture? Looked everywhere, Instagram page, Facebook page, nothing. Nothing had even
So
been
they haven't
made.
even started it. They just
They
trademarked it on
literally,
you.
because it lasts 10 years
Yeah.
if you trademark something. And like it's a 7 months process too. So like I've applied for this, but it hasn't, like you talk to lawyers and shit, they're like, it most likely will get accepted.
Yep.
But it hasn't been accepted yet.
Yep.
So like, they were like, but you can't apply for Strange Culture because it's in the process.
Yep.
I was like, but I've made t-shirts already. They're like, there's nothing you can do about it.
I don't think you understand. I have the t-shirt.
I've spent money on it.
I've made the brand
And like,
already.
the funny thing is, if I hadn't done that, like actually done my research and like started this clothing brand, it was called Strange Culture.
Yeah.
We could like in a couple of months, whoever has that could either have sued me or like I would have to shut it down.
Yeah. There are
So-
loopholes in that though, I'm pretty sure. My accountant
I
told me.
think there definitely is if you have like either good lawyers or like you have
What
enough
if you
evidence, if you have enough evidence that you started it before they had filed for that application.
What if
so
you
say like I had photos or I had a Facebook page and I'd already started selling it and I could prove the date,
Yeah.
then you could find a loophole. But
Yeah.
say like now someone else put in, so say like when I first went to trademark the name Distant Culture, obviously I didn't start making the clothes for a few months.
Yeah.
Someone else applied or like had made the clothes already.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if you switch it around.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it took me like a year or so to get like on my feet, like make the business.
Yeah.
I could then sue them because I'd be like, well, I haven't made the clothing brand, but like I filed because I'm still getting everything ready.
Yeah. And that's fair. Yeah, fair enough. So I had like a question to ask you because like this is like a pretty important one for like new businesses and stuff that are like starting up and stuff. And I know you've done a lot of work and stuff like sampling your clothes and trying to find the right supplier.
Yeah.
And like really scoping out the market and stuff like that, and not just taking the first thing that came to opportunity, like not opportunity, but like came to tuition, if you know what I mean. Like you sort of like you've been doing this for like literally a year or so, buying samples and stuff like that.
So like that was pretty much why Strange Culture didn't start, was because I wanted to find a supplier I was really happy with. So like it all starts with buying blanks, and the only blanks that I knew of back then were AS Color. So like heaps of people might know them. Like they're just a basic like
Culture Kings.
They like you can buy them at Culture Kings. Like heaps of other brands use them, but they're just like didn't really like the fit. So they were either like I kind of like the boxy, like a little bit longer sleeves. So if I wanted that boxy fit, they were way too long.
Yeah.
Like way too long.
Yeah, they're long tees.
So like
they're the
hardest
long
part-
slim. They're long
sort
slim.
of, yeah. And like it was a bit thinner. So
Yeah.
like in terms of tees, I like them a little bit thicker so you can actually like kind of
Like the ones we're wearing
feel
now.
them. Yeah, literally. So like that's all I literally cared about at the start, was like having a product that not one that I didn't like. Like I kind of wanted to like just base it on the quality and the fit first.
Yeah,
Does that make sense? So that's like where all the research and stuff went into it, and then doing all the sampling. So I found a supplier in China. Like that's where most stuff gets made, and it's because it is a bit cheaper, but you can pretty much customize everything. So like I've customized these tees to literally like the millimeter. So like say like the samples work and like there's so many different types of cotton as well that I didn't know about. There's like cotton, comb cotton. There's like Pima cotton. There's like
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane, isn't
there's
it?
literally about six, seven different types of cotton. So like having samples of all them at home and then picking something that was kind of priced all right, but also
Really good.
felt really good. Because
Yeah.
like the first couple of samples, I was like, fuck yeah, these are literally like only like $4 or $5 each.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like that's unreal. And then I got home, put them on. I was just like, these are shit.
Yeah, actually.
I was like, these are actually shit.
Yeah.
Like you might be able to get away with selling like the first couple of drops, but then people are going to put them on and be like,
Like dog shit,
Nah.
throw them away. And that's
Literally.
that's where you stand out too, I reckon, as like as someone too, because like this is a really good fit. Like feels good, and like we have similar fashion as well. We sort of
Yeah.
like the looser tee,
yeah.
bit towards the elbow sort of thing too. And it's actually like a really
And
good
like
material.
the other thing is like I love the thicker neck ribbing. So like all the AS color tees, after like a few washes, they went all like wrinkly
Yep.
or like there'd always be like a crease in a certain spot. So like with all my samples as well, like I'd get them, then I'd wash them, like I'd maybe test them for like a month or so, and then see if they're like faded, like
Yep.
shrunk.
Yep.
Because like the first couple would shrink.
Yep.
So like you'd send them the measurements, get it, wash it a few times, put it on. I was like, this just went from an XL to a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally.
So I had to get like paid a bit more, but you can get like pre-shrunk material.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
like it doesn't shrink literally at all. If so, it's like a 1 to half
Fraction.
a centimeter.
Yeah.
I wanted
So it was
to.
just like it's just doing all that research and like
Yeah.
all the sampling.
So I wanted to like, just to confirm with everyone, this is Distant Culture where we're at now, and it's fucking awesome. The quality is outstanding. But I kind of wanted to jump back to Strange Culture.
Mm-hmm.
You said you were with the AS
Color.
Color t-shirts and stuff, but I wanted to talk about the look and style of that first brand itself, because at the time I thought Strange Culture looked dope as fuck. Like I even have one of the old t-shirts that I still have now in my wardrobe. But this style and line that you've dropped recently is 100 times better, way cooler,
Thousand times.
so much better. And like what it like for you,
Yeah.
at the time when you were designing them, I'm imagining you were like, these are sick, these are dope as fuck. But like now that you're at Distant Culture, what did you think of your old brand in comparison? Or do you still reckon
Shit.
this is? I said that to Blake the other day. I was like,
Bro,
dude, I
I
was like,
literally looked back and I had like that was only like a couple of designs I did, right?
Mm.
So I had maybe like another 20 or so ready to go in my computer. And when I started Distant Culture, I literally went back on. I was like, what was I thinking?
Just
And
like,
I literally deleted all of them.
Yep.
But it's only because like I've personally grown as
Grown.
well.
Oh, 100%.
So like being in the like modeling
fashion
industry,
industry.
fashion industry, like you see a lot more brands, and like working with the vintage marketplace and stuff, like you literally look at my wardrobe, it's all like vintage sort of stuff. So like, but like it's kind of the environment as well. So like I lived in Bendigo, the only closed stores here were New Gen. So I kind of based it off stuff that I'd see. So like I wouldn't get much inspiration, but like now moving sort of like into Geelong, working with like a few brands, kind of like working in the vintage sort of like marketplace industry. Like I just feel like my personal fashion sense has gotten better as well.
100%.
So that's like a massive thing to do with it. And then even just like being at uni for a couple more years.
Yep.
And then just having a bit more like design sort of aspect behind it as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Helps heaps.
Yeah, because you that's the thing too, like why, because you can literally do it all. Like you can take the photos, design the clothes, you can.
Yeah, I literally like that's the one thing. Like as I grow bigger, I kind of want to take a bit of the workload off myself.
Yeah, and just be the designer sort of thing.
Because it is a fair bit of work. Because I like heaps of other bigger brands or like brands I've worked with. The owner like has a fair bit of say, but then he hires a photographer, he hires a like stylist, he hires a designer, but he's just like the business side of things. Whereas like that's the one thing I like. I do the everything
At the moment, yeah.
But that's the good thing about what you were saying before, how you it's, for example, a few years ago when you were with Strange Culture, you had no idea. But now that you've worked in all these industries, you've done modeling. You're literally probably would call yourself a photographer now. And like you do actual modeling shoots for models. You know what I mean?
And photography shoots for models.
Oh, that's what I mean. Sorry. Yeah. Modeling and photography. You know
And
what I mean?
like-
So you're experiencing all these things and it gives you actual, what would you say? Like
Experience.
Like knowledge and stuff.
Yeah. Knowledge
Yeah,
about
yeah.
that industry, which you're like, I can incorporate that for myself. And like, you would never be where you are now with your other brand. Oh, you probably would be over time, but it would never be
nowhere near as good.
Yeah.
Because like heaps of my shoots, I was probably that annoying at the start because I asked that many questions and they were like, is this dude here to shoot or what?
Yeah.
But like in my mind, I was just getting like all this knowledge and stuff from them to like put into my own clothing brand.
Yeah.
And then like once I said that, they're like, oh, true. Like that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to stop you all too, let's do a stand and spin.
A stand and spin.
Yep, let's do a stand and spin.
Yeah, we're going to show off the brand. Wait, one person has got to stay because I'm going to talk you through it. You can do a bit of a spin, Natty, mate. You can.
That's his new.
Yeah, shout out new line that's going to drop. Wait, Natty, you got to look at yourself in the camera, mate, because that is what you're going to be seeing. She's pretty zoomed in. we're going for a little bit of a wash tea this time, mate, aren't we? Ooh,
Yes, we are.
juicy. So that's actually a good thing to jump onto with the new brand coming out. Very exciting stuff released. Probably about a month ago now, 4 weeks ish. Maybe a bit more.
3 weeks.
3 weeks,
It
yeah.
has been.
So he's only just dropped the brand, which is super
It was
exciting.
21st of Jan.
Oh fuck, not long ago at all, actually. Yeah,
But I was thinking that the other day. I was like
time flies.
sitting there and I was like, fuck, it's only been like a couple of weeks.
I
Yeah.
know. But like, you only dropped a line of two shirts. You got a white one, which your boy right here representing, and then you got the black
And
one,
Blake's
which
one,
your boy
which
is also.
like an embroidery sort of design as well.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's changed from strange culture to distant culture.
No more
So
laminating.
no. So not even that. It's so when you work with these suppliers, the minimum order quantity is 100.
Yeah.
So for starting businesses, it's way harder because you to like come out with heaps of shit. Especially me, like I'm at uni, like I don't work that much, so like all the money and stuff behind it, it's taken a while to save. Rather than like if I was working full time, I'd be able to come out with so much more shit.
Oh, for sure.
And that's an important
That-
aspect too, because you need the sort of money, because especially with your sort of business too, where you do
Yeah.
drops, you're not like a line for everyone. You do like limited drops of
Yeah.
sick designs that you basically close your eyes to, like throw out. No,
Yeah.
not throw out, but you're not doing it again, basically.
Yeah.
So like it is important to have that sort of money to do your next drop and then your next drop and then your
And
next.
just like the time as well. Like I low key wish I wasn't at uni and like maybe working because I'd have so much more time to put back into the business.
Yeah.
And like I'd have way more money. So like I'm just keen for the future because like I've already got this far with working, like doing uni, even like when I was like doing footy and shit at the same time, like it got pretty hectic.
Yeah.
So like, that's the other thing. Like it probably wouldn't have happened this quick if it wasn't for Corona.
Yeah.
No joke.
I know
I
what
was
you
sitting
mean.
at home, was only doing uni, like wasn't really working. So I had all this spare time.
Yep.
And like before that, life was just way too quick. So like low-key's Corona's been kind of good for that sense.
I completely agree with Corona as like a huge inspiration to those things. Like I found it in myself, like Corona actually started this podcast, to be honest, didn't it? Really?
Literally did.
It literally did. It sparks a lot of inspiration, as bad as it was, but you think of other creative things. Yeah, I kind of wanted to kind of jump into, if you don't mind me asking, mate, I think there's a lot of I don't know, a lot of people always have these ideas to start businesses and stuff, but I think one of the main worries around it is they don't have enough money or income to start this business. And I don't think it's always the case where you need like a fucking like $30,000 or something to start a business.
Not that much.
Yeah. So like with distant culture, even like how much money would you say you kind of needed to invest
Put into it.
Yeah.
So that if we're talking right at the start, so that's probably why I had that massive gap as well between strange culture and distant culture, because I was like, if I want to do it properly, I do need to save a little bit, like obviously not that 30K or whatever,
Yeah.
but just enough so it was like semi-professional, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
100%.
like, so I probably spent, so the first part was probably ordering samples. So I probably spent, you could get really lucky though, and like you could get the first couple you could be really happy with, so you could spend a couple $100 there. But I reckon I easily spent like $500 to $700.
Yep.
Only because I was pretty new to obviously like knowing what grams and shit were. So like I'd be ordering teas that were 180 grams, and then I'd get a sample in like 200, then one at 210,
This is like
one
the
at
thickness.
240.
Yeah. This is the thickness of the
Thickness
t-shirt.
of the teas, yeah.
Because there's so many things that you got to actually incorporate when you ask these suppliers.
Yeah.
It's not like people probably just think like, oh yeah,
I just want a t-shirt.
I just
And
want
then
a
they'll be
t-shirt.
like, they'll literally message you back. They're like, what weight do you want it? What
length, measurements.
length? What's your measurements? What kind of cotton do you want? And when they sent me these questions back, I was like, the fuck? I'd have to literally Google them.
Yeah.
So
And then so
literally,
that was like a learning process as well. And then trying to figure out what the best sort of so the other thing is you have to find a manufacturer. One, you're happy with the supplier and like the material, but 2, one that you know can communicate properly. Because you're talking to people in China, right? So their language is a bit broken. It's like simple English, but
I know exactly what you're saying.
me personally, like I can deal with that shit pretty well because like I only started speaking English when I was probably like 9, 10.
True.
So like heaps of people will message people in China and be like, before they've even ordered a sample, they'll go, this stuff's going to be that shit. Like they don't even speak English. Like they can't even get over that barrier.
Assume the worst.
But like it's sometimes it's taken me like maybe 10 messages just to be like, how much is a sample? They're like, yes, you can get. And I was like, no. How much is a sample at this weight? So like finding a supplier that's 1, pretty well spoken in English, and 2, the material's pretty good because like I probably trialed maybe like 5 or 6.
Yep.
Ordered the same thing and they all come out different. So I'd be like, I want a t-shirt that's 210 GSM with this custom measurement, and they'd all come back a bit different. And I was like, I've ordered the same cotton and they all feel so different.
Yeah.
So like, but in terms of samples, I've probably spent about 700.
Yep.
And then I really wanted to get a studio because I like other businesses though, they might hire a studio, but they're probably like anywhere from 300 to like 1,500 a day. And I was like, I don't really have the time or money. So luckily Dad used to be into photography. So like I rang him and was like asking him about how much like lights were, how much like tripods, backdrops. And he's like, luckily he actually had a few like soft boxes and stuff. So I didn't have to pay any money in that sense, but I did have to buy a backdrop, stands, a camera. So like the backdrop was probably $250.
Yep.
I did have to buy 1 softbox, which was probably another couple of $100. I bought a camera, which was $2.5K because I had some shitty little Nikon before it, and it was literally terrible. So what's that? Like already spent maybe 3 and a bit.
Yeah.
And then I bought a new lens, which was like add another $700.
But shouting out to, I went to Natty's house the other day because he's been telling me about his studio, and he was talking about it just before about paying for a studio. Natty's lucky enough to have what fucking
Studio in the garage.
studio in the garage, double garage coming in the goods.
Yeah, if you look on the website, all those photos are taken in my garage.
Taken in the fucking backyard, mate.
the professional himself,
literally.
But no, they actually come
But
out
yeah.
fucking crisp, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
crisp,
dude.
They actually do come out
I
tight.
spent like hours getting all the lighting right. And like anyone who wants to start a business, go on YouTube, watch tutorials.
YouTube
Literally,
is the
I've
best teacher.
self-taught myself everything.
The best teacher.
So before the business, like I didn't even know what an f-stop was.
yeah.
Like I literally had to teach myself everything. So I used to, but like the other good thing was I had my brother and my housemate Kayla who like helped me out and would stand there for literally about an hour while I was like moving the lights. I was like, just 2 more shots, dude.
By 3 hours later.
By this stage, they're absolutely hating you.
Dude, it was that hot in the garage as well. That's the other thing. There's like sweating buckets.
Poor Kayla's sweating her makeup off and shit.
Literally.
Tea time just wants to watch YouTube and shit.
Yeah, I know. Oh shit, that's
But
bad.
overall, I reckon if you're including paying for the bulk, I've probably spent maybe like $6,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's still not too bad though. Like if you check out Disney Culture's website, like it's super professionally made up compared to your other one.
And
You
that's
were
the other
saying-
thing. The website, it's just paid monthly, so it's like $30 to $50 a month. So it's not like a big
Yeah.
payout at the start.
Yeah.
But-
100%.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask you too, because like obviously you've put all this work and stuff in, and now it's sort of like been out for a few weeks and stuff. Like how did people take it? Like how was it? Like was it everyone jumping on it straight away, or was it a bit of a slow process? Is that getting more love now? Like
Yeah.
what's it been like from the people? What have they said?
So pretty much I didn't have too many expectations. Like I knew it was going to be hard work.
Yeah.
And like
Starting from scratch.
you could have the best material, but like if not enough people know about it, like they're not going to buy it. And like obviously it's going to be your friends, your family and stuff at the start that kind of support you. So I went into the mindset being like it could literally go one or two ways. Like only your friends buy it, and like that could be enough. But then like it's been pretty good. Like I think I did a giveaway right at the start, which helped heaps.
Yep.
So I was like,
I
you know how giveaways like work, like tag your friends, that sort of thing. So like that grew the page a fair bit, and then I was getting a couple of people buy my tees that I didn't know, which I didn't expect right at the start, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
Like there was someone in Adelaide, no clue who it is. Shout out to them.
Shout out to
massive teabagger.
Yeah,
he'll be a big
But,
teabag.
like,
He'll be
that
watching.
was pretty cool, just getting like people that I didn't know buy the tees.
Yeah, that's
and
mad.
then it has slowed down a little bit the last couple of days, but like that's pretty much expected, I reckon.
That's
Like when you
expected.
first start, like when it's when you have a drop, all the
There is
all the
always
hype and stuff's
Yeah.
gonna be like the first couple of weeks, and then it's just literally like marketing after that, like trying to sell to those people that either don't know you or don't know the brand. Like that's pretty much the hardest part.
Yeah.
But I've talked to a few influencers the last week, so hopefully get them on board within the next couple of weeks,
Yeah, madness.
and then that will hopefully like kind of get a bit of traction
Yep.
and stuff. But it was just mainly like I'm just happy with the quality.
Yep.
And like the whole just process, like I'm just in love with the process. So
100%. If you have quality, I mean, eventually the word will spread. You know what I mean? They're like,
yeah, literally.
they have a t-shirt, they're going to consistently buy from you.
It also helps that you actually genuinely love doing what you're doing. Like you love fashion, love clothes, love creating the business. Like so far it sounds like you're just generally like literally what you just said, like you're just enjoying the process.
Just enjoying the process. Yeah, like that.
Taking
That's
it how it
literally just the
comes.
main goal. Like one day, like I just want to do this full time. Like that's just a goal of mine, to own my own business, work for myself. Like I've worked so many jobs, and like you get to kind of like our age sort of thing, and you kind of like you spend so much time at work. And I've had so many jobs, probably like 20 plus jobs.
Like
Being
working
there
for
for
the man.
8 hours, and you're like,
I hate my life.
like I could not care if I made
Why am I here?
Kill
if I
myself.
like literally like if I only made enough to support myself one day just to do the clothing brand, like I'd be way happier than like say like being a lawyer making so much money.
Yeah.
But like I hate my job, so that's like my main goal is just enjoy what you do.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. Couldn't agree
Like,
more.
And that's the biggest
That's
thing
massive.
ever too. Because like you think like you're 25, like you're starting it now. It's already going in the right direction. And it's like, what happens when you're 26?
Yeah, literally.
When
like
you're 27, 28? It's like,
it's only going to get better.
if you sit there and complain and like, oh, but I'm 24. Oh, and by the time I get it started, I'm 25. But then you would have had it by 26. And if you never done it, then you never have it done.
Yeah.
So
So
it's
I
like-
read something the other day. The page I follow was like, one of the keys to success is starting before you're actually ready.
Oh, 100%. I think the hardest thing about it, kind of what this episode's kind of based about is, you know, people like with the money thing, actually what we're talking about, like, oh, I don't have enough money, blah, blah, blah. But if you actually just start it, you'll realize all these things come with everything, you know what I mean? Because like it'll just flow. Whereas like people don't start, so they never try, so they never learn, you know what I mean? And if you fail, I would say almost kind of like Strange Culture did.
Yeah.
Essentially it did fail because it's nothing anymore.
Yeah.
But it led to Distant Culture.
Yeah.
You know what
that's
I mean?
it. That's the other thing. Like
So it didn't really fail. It's
so
sort of-
like I honestly wouldn't care if Distant Culture failed because
it'll just lead to the next one.
It's
I
just a
would've
learning
learned
curve.
so much. And like I have watched a few documentaries where I think the band's 100, the Hundreds.
Yep.
And like they started it a couple of times because like they failed, and then they learnt so much to put into the next brand that it just got so much better.
Yep.
Like you don't really take any L's, you just take lessons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fucking oath,
Literally.
dude. Completely agree. And we spoke about this in the intro Teabaggers, but Natty, you have a little bit of a sneaky little announcement you want to...
Yeah, so Teabaggers, I've got a little promo for you guys. So when you check out, put in Teahouse 20, and it's going to be 20% from tonight for a week.
Yep, that'll be the Wednesday tonight that it drops. Teahouse 20
Teahouse 20,
for a cheeky little discount, mate.
Yeah,
20%.
And that's a
Support the cause, support the bro.
support the broski. No, but that's fucking awesome, man. And yeah, I'm glad. So you generally how the process has been, are you happy where you are now, generally kind of where the brand is? I know it's only been 3 weeks, hasn't been very long, but did you have different expectations, or are you totally happy where it is now and you expected it to kind of be where it is now? Or did you have different expectations? You were kind of hoping it would be on the up the whole time, or?
Honestly, it all comes back to just like what's happening in my personal life.
Yep.
So like due to Corona, it's probably slowed down just a little bit because I did lose my job at one of my jobs at Glue.
Yep.
Because our contract ran out on the 30th of Jan, but it was because the Corona supplement thing.
Yeah,
the businesses had to pay their workers, so the government stopped that, so they let all our casuals go. So it pretty much just all comes back to my personal life. Like the more work that I have, the better the brand's going to be because I'm putting more money, time, effort into it.
Yep. Fucking oath, man.
No, couldn't agree more. So like, what have you got any like feedback, like on any of the clothing or
a
tees?
couple of the boys that bought some were like, dude, I love this shit. Like I'm literally be copying one every time.
Yep.
One of the comments was funny as he was like, I love how it feels on my nipples.
So
I
true.
literally lost it.
Should have never thought about that.
It actually does feel nice. Your one's lighter though. Mine's a bit heavier, the darker one.
Thick one, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one feels real good.
Have you ever had any bad comments? Like, I wouldn't say bad, but like for me personally, with the podcast is probably a huge thing, like constructive criticism. Or has it all been pretty good? It's probably a bit different that it's a clothing brand. It's probably hard to have constructive
criticism. Probably
even design wise.
Oh, actually, yeah, my barber. Last 2 nights ago, I got my hair cut. He bought one. He actually came over the first night. It's pretty funny. He was like, "Dude, I want to cop one right now," and he like
Fucking give me one right now.
drove home, cop one. He said that the double XL, because he's like a little bit bigger, it was a little bit tight on the like kind of around here.
Yep.
Compared to like one of his other brands that he got. So I think I'll make minor adjustments in the next drop in terms of the sizing.
Yep.
There's not the biggest like difference between the medium, like all the sizes pretty much.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I will change.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because like I feel like the white tee, like it's not my fault. Like I sent the supplier the exact measurements, but I feel like the white tee, the sleeves are a tad longer.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, right.
I feel that.
True.
Yeah, fair.
So that's one minor adjustment, but like, they'll be so minor, like you probably won't notice it, but like everything's just a stepping, like.
Oh, 100%. Learning
like,
stepping stone.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because like when I was ordering samples as well, I kind of was only getting one size.
Yep.
Because it gets pretty expensive if you're going to order a small, medium, large, XL, double XL.
Yep.
So I kind of just had to base it off 2 sizes.
Yeah.
For the next size, if you kind of know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely. And we were talking briefly off air. I reckon this is so funny because it's happened with me for ever since I started my first business, like doing photography and stuff. Like you'll run into people and they're like, bro, what do you mean? Like they won't actually be like, because they'll see it that you've done something and they'll be like, bro, I love it, dude. Love what you're doing, supporting it and shit. Like for example, you like, I imagine there's heaps of people being like, dude, I'm definitely buying one and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
it's good.
In a sense, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because they're kind of like hyping you up and stuff. But on the other sense, I'm like, you don't have to feel like that you have. I feel like they feel like they have to say they're going to buy a tee when they see me. Like they would see me out or something like, dude, I'm definitely going to cop one tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then if they don't, like, I'd rather you just be like,
they're sick,
dude, like,
bro.
yeah, they're sick. Like,
Yeah.
I love what you're doing. And then just leave it at that, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Dude, I get people all the time about this potty. It's actually classic. Kind of understandable from our first episode though. But like people will be like, bro, I love the potty, man. I'm just standing there like, you've never watched it, I reckon. Or you've watched like 2 minutes
Like,
of an
what's
episode.
the first one about? They're like,
Yeah.
who was the guest speaker?
I don't do follow up questions.
Yeah.
I just looked at the cover, dude, like the intro bit.
Yeah.
I don't do follow up questions because you know they're gonna fucking gas it, and
I know.
and I
Literally.
don't even want to expose them because like in my head I know I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't care, bro. Like,
Sometimes you can tell that they're actually being genuine. They'll actually be
Yeah.
like, oh, this episode with blah, blah, blah in it and blah, blah, blah. And you're like, yeah, sick. Some people are just like, yeah, dude, love the potty, man. It's sick. It's like, yeah, feels good, man.
cheers, bro. Cheers, bro.
Yeah. But it's still good that
But
they're
like,
seeing it.
I'm
and
just
shit.
like, I'm real realistic though. So like, if say like not many people bought it, I'll just be like, all right, they don't rate it. It's something like, I don't expect my friends and families to purchase it if it's something they don't like.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty realistic in that sense. Like if some of my mates or like anyone didn't get it, like I wouldn't be hurt. I would just be like, well, if it's something they don't rate, like that's literally fine with me.
Yeah, I don't want to force them into it.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
I'd rather them actually buy it because they like it rather than just getting it because of the
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I actually tell
for sure.
people about when like they actually bring out stuff. I'm like, oh, it's probably not for everyone, you know, like the podcast, because
literally.
everyone listens to different podcasts for different reasons. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people think this is dog shit, but you know what I mean. Some people fucking love it. You teabaggers love it. Teabaggers. Oh, that's so good, man.
I reckon the name's funny as fuck. Like, how did you actually come up with that? Teabaggers.
The Teahouse or the Teabaggers?
Dude.
Like Teahouse.
Have we talked about this? I reckon we've talked about this multiple times. But
Do you know what I low-key like was thinking when we were talking about me coming onto the podcast?
What?
Dude, I was that keen to have a tea.
Dude, we always used to do that.
I was like,
that was like a signature we used to do.
literally, I was like, you should have a tea as well.
We always used to do that.
It's more like Teahouse talk. Like it's not really.
Yeah,
we don't.
I can't know what you mean.
We don't drink teas no more. Like, I do drink teas, but
with
Lincoln makes them too milky, so they're fucked.
with the name, the only kind of memory I have of like how it started was like I was driving in the car, and in my head I came up with like the Treehouse, and that was kind of like, and then I hit it up with the boys, and it was all right, but like we kind of didn't froth it or anything, and then somehow the Treehouse kind of branched to the Teahouse.
Yeah,
didn't it? That's kind of how it came around.
yeah.
Dude, how hard is it coming up with a name though?
I was
Oh,
definitely.
dude, so fucking
I was
hard.
sitting in bed that
hard
night, I was
as.
like,
So hard. Because there
Mate,
was 3 of us at that time.
I
so it was
thought we were a couple of Bart Simpsons, mate.
a couple of Bart Simpsons.
Yeah, the Treehouse. The Treehouse of Horrors.
Yeah, literally. I think that's what...
The Teahouse of Horrors, baby.
Yeah, we made that
Did
an
you-
episode actually.
did you have to check like if it was like, I don't know how like podcasts work. Did you have to like see if anyone else had it?
Yeah.
Sort of thing?
We started it actually. We started it and then I looked it up on YouTube and there actually is a Teahouse podcast,
Yeah.
but it's very
small.
Yeah, very small. Like,
It's like, how annoying is that? Like I had
Like we were
My-
bigger on our first episode, I think.
yeah.
my
Shout out
Instagram page, Distant Culture. I went to make it,
Yeah.
and some dude had his name as Distant Culture, like his name and username, and I was like, "What?
Who is
the
this
chances?" So I had to,
motherfucker?
literally had to just put like a underscore after it, and I hate doing that.
Yeah.
I don't reckon it looks bad though.
It doesn't look bad, but like,
Don't worry
it's-
about it, mate. When you have the blue tick, not long.
Adds to the aesthetic, bruh.
All right, Teahouse will be getting the blue tick soon.
Yeah, soon. And
Oh.
250 fucking followers growing.
Imagine us boys went from a hot box and garden drive to
Yeah, some dude at work
certified.
was telling some dude at work was telling me today he listens to it. It's like he's like 50 years old.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, I fucking love the tea house, mate. Every Wednesday night, me family and I sit there on
This motherfucker.
Thought you were actually being
I
genuine.
was
Like,
like,
wait, what?
I did it though because the cunt he
You
lives
honestly
in
thought-
Geelong.
you
Yeah, that's what I was
honestly
like,
thought
wait,
being
what?
Lincoln was like, what?
I was like, oh, shit.
Surely,
Huge teabagger in Geelong.
surely when I was like, he's like 50 and his family and him
Kids,
sitting there.
come on the couch. It's the tea house time tonight.
Hey, hey Natty.
featuring Lincoln and Blake.
Hey Natty. Do you remember back in the day? Us 3 were there. I can't remember who else was there. We're like, oh boys, let's go smoke a bit of the devil's lettuce.
Oh, at your old house?
So
Bro.
what happened was I'd recently moved from my mum's old rental to our new house around the corner, and one night me and the boys were like, oh, let's go smoke some doobs. So we're like, oh, let's go hotbox Natty's car. Yeah, fuck yeah. So we're like, yeah, sweet. Quickly went around the corner to me old house, sitting in the driveway. There's big to rent sign out the front and shit too, like two.
Oh, yeah, no one
was
was
just an-
living
yeah, it
there.
was an
just
empty
like
home.
Yeah.
Vacant block.
Yeah.
Yeah, fully.
We just parked in the driveway.
Parked in the driveway, clouds blowing everywhere. Next minute, lights start flashing at us. We're like, oh no.
Dude,
No,
I was
first
so-
it drove past.
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
Drove
drove
past.
past real slow.
Yeah, really slow. And someone was like, is that a cop?
Yeah.
And we're just like, fucking like freaking out.
And then the best part was they turned their fucking side torches on and Natty just looks me straight in the eye and goes, I'm not looking at them.
I was like, bro, if you don't look at him, they won't see it.
Natty was in the middle seat at the back, so they just would have shone straight through to him.
Mate, no, he was
No,
in the
I was
front.
in the driver's
Oh,
seat.
were you in the
though.
driver?
I was
cunt?
just pointing straight at me head, and I was like,
That's what I mean. It was me and this cunt in the front. Him driving, I'm in the passenger. This cunt looks straight at me and did not look at them.
And then like I was like just more stressed that if they went into their car, they could smell. It's like, everyone get out, so they can't smell it.
So I literally jumped out of the car and like diffused the situation. I went up to the coppers because it was lucky my address still had that address on it at the time.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
like,
lucky it was your house. Yeah. I had no clue what to say.
I was like, no, I live here and that. They're like, oh, the too late. Yeah, we're in the middle of, like two renting and stuff. But yeah, no, I still look me address and shit.
Yeah. Because they had a noise complaint.
Yeah, that's right. Because the neighbors said that no one lives there anymore.
Yeah.
That's actually funny. Yes.
That's a flashback. That's so funny. That shit is actually fucked.
Yeah,
I was like, I literally just wanted to walk back, even though it was literally about 100 meters up the road. I was like, dude, I'm that stressed.
Let's run. Let's
Mate,
run.
And the best part about it too, it would have been like me and you in the front. Me got big head. Me and you would have looked like that Arthur show. That fucking, what I'm talking about?
Yeah, literally.
Wait.
You're with the football head, that one?
I'm the big white head.
Oh yeah. It's like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Like the little that little dude.
basketballer.
He's got the flat top. And
He used to be my profile picture for a bit.
That would have been me and you in the front.
That's actually what it would have looked like. Holy shit.
I wonder what they were thinking when I was like,
Just not looking at him.
It would have looked that crook. They would have known for
as
sure.
soon as I looked away, I was like, just don't look back.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's so good.
Pure, mate, pure. And just we're sort of getting towards the end, but I just got a few modelling questions. Just because you're a big time model now and that.
Wouldn't say big time.
Big time.
Making it.
Big time. Geelong's fine. Mate, every time I even check my Instagram, mate, sponsored posts, Natty. I'm like, don't even follow these brands.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So this dude's always coming up.
It's Instagram. They know what you want.
But basically, one of the very few questions, because it used to get a few modelling gigs back when you weren't through an agency, you sort of just had like your email and your Instagram and stuff, and like brands would message you and stuff. Basically,
that's kind of how it started. Like,
yeah.
I never would have guessed I would have like got into it. Like never. Like if someone asked me a couple of years ago before I started, like I would have been like, there's no chance that I'd be applying for an agency. But I remember being at home, and the first ever place that messaged me was Vintage Marketplace, and they're just like a cool little vintage shop in Geelong. And they were like, like, would you be interested in modelling for us? Like we're keen to get you on board. And I was like, fuck yeah, that sounds cool as. And then they were messaging me. They were messaging me like, what's your price and stuff? And I was like,
let me just punch some numbers real quick for you.
Fuck this. Like I've never done this before, but I was like, I don't know. Like I could only base it on jobs that I'd done before. So I was like, 40 an hour.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, all right.
Those motherfuckers.
I was like,
yeah, they took that.
And I was like, yeah, all right. And then I did that for, I was doing that a fair bit. I was like maybe like once a week, like for a couple of hours for probably like maybe a year or so. But then like, as you said, that just kind of led into more shit. So like they had friends who started up their own clothing brand, and then they messaged me being like, like how much do you charge and all this. And then
word of mouth.
I'd like low-key just putting the price up a little bit for new brands, because like I had no idea what like agencies or like proper models would charge. So then like that picked up, and then I think it was because like one of them, as you said, put up like a sponsored thing, and then that like got around to other brands, and then like Wanderer hit me up, and then like I put my price up a little bit again. And then I was doing that for a little bit longer. And then it wasn't until I did Front Runner.
Yep.
Big shout out to Tim, who owns that. Big teabagger.
I've been seeing that pop up.
He's massive teabagger.
Yeah.
Massive
He was on The Bachelor.
Yep.
And I remember it was pretty funny.
Tim
like,
from The Bachelor, Longhead. Yeah, I actually know the brand. Yeah, sorry, Front Runner. Yeah, sorry.
I literally didn't even know who he was, but like he's pretty famous. And Kayla like loves him. Sorry, Kayla, for dropping that. But she was like, dude, Tim messaged you. And I was like, yeah, some dude messaged me like on Insta. Like, I think he's pretty famous. She's like, Tim Hanley. And I was like, yeah. She's like, what? That's sick.
Yep.
And I was like, and then he like messaged me being like, hey bro, like I'm keen to get you on board. And this was during the lockdown.
Yeah.
because he lived in Melbourne, and like we went in the full lockdown, so they had to get people in Geelong to do it.
Oh,
So it was pretty good because
true.
like they couldn't work in Melbourne. Anyway, he was like, "Oh, like, how much do you charge?" And I put like my price up a bit again, and then I was shooting with another model, and like she'd been in the industry for a while, like she'd been doing it for about 10 years, and then we kind of got talking about like how much you charge and stuff, and then she was like, "Wait, you only charged 80 an hour?" She's like, "I'd be charging way more." And I was like, "Fuck!" Like I literally had no clue. I thought that was like unreal. I was like, "Dude, $80 an hour is like so good."
Yeah.
And then she actually she messaged me probably like a couple of months after that, and like she started up her own modeling agency. So like I ended up signing with them because I was like, I knew her personally. Like I thought it was pretty cool. Like her and her sister started it. Like they're kind of young as well, and like myself, like starting a business. So like, and then just getting a bit more work through them. So like that's pretty much how it started.
Yeah, madness. I'm sure when you came to the new agency that they gave you your price that you're worth, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Who what is the name of the agency?
Big shout out to Duo Management.
Shout out to them. Huge teabaggers.
Huge teabagger.
That'd be huge.
Massive teabaggers.
Massive.
Massive. Geelong's best modelling agency.
Yeah.
Networking.
It's pretty sick how from something that you never actually thought about, something you would actually be doing,
Like, literally
and
never.
started from an Instagram message, and
yeah.
now you're working for an agency.
And like I remember doing one it was pretty funny. It was like I'm trying to think of the brand, but it's kind of like Kathmandu. It was like,
Yep.
So it wasn't even like streetwear sort of stuff, and like never would have guessed doing that.
Yeah.
And like I did it in Ballarat, and it was literally it was like middle of winter. It was that cold.
Wearing
Mate.
singlets and shit.
No, bro. We wore jackets and stuff, but it was freezing. And like, because the jackets, I had to show that it was waterproof. They had to spray me with water. And dude was getting me in the head, like face. I was like, dude, just calm down. Just stop spraying me.
He's fucking-
Like, I was that cold. And I was literally about to walk off the set. I was like, dude, it's freezing. I was like, quick, just wrap it up.
Mate, the amount of little films I've nearly done that to Lincoln to because it's fucking cold and we're doing the shittest fucking
That's the worst part.
and I'm not even getting paid. He ain't even paying.
I made you famous, bro. Shut up.
When you have to wear like shorts and a singlet outside and it's freezing.
Yeah,
There's a few pics you can zoom up and you'd see massive goosebumps.
We're on a mountain, and I had this bloke in a fucking t-shirt, and it was like middle of winter, rainy, fucking foggy and shit.
And guess where it was? Mount Macedon.
Not even like in an open area. It was in like we went off the track.
I was in a cloud basically.
Took a hard right into like the bush that he was running through. It was good.
That's funny.
Committed to the role.
Shout out to actors as well.
Yeah, no,
It's like,
serious.
I only did that for a little bit and like, Jesus
Fuck
Christ.
yeah.
Oh, fucking oath.
And they have to be realistic as
Literally.
well. Fucking good on them.
And the front runner one, we were at the beach, I remember. And we kept like stepping back too far and you couldn't see where the ocean was and we like kept getting splashed.
True.
And I was like, dude, how do people like do acting in like the full rain?
I know.
And like,
I heard some actors like full on for like, because like obviously it's vice versa as well. So a lot of winter movies that they're shot, they'll shoot it in a studio, but it looks like it's like snow or something.
Yeah.
And they'll be in jackets and it's like fucking 40 degrees.
it's that hot.
Sometimes it's literally insane what people actually have to do. It's fucked. Crazy. But what about today's episode, boys? Is that about wrap us up almost? We about
I think
run out of time for all.
alone.
Yeah. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Natty.
Thanks for having me.
Always, bros.
Been looking forward to it. I
Yeah.
was a bit nervous at the start, but
Don't worry, we always are.
Yeah, Natty's been a big teabag from day one. So
huge.
He's
Every
one of-
Wednesday night,
He's a day oneer.
yeah.
day oneer.
But I hope you guys have actually enjoyed a little bit diving into kind of starting a business and how Natty's kind of done all this, and his journey's a little bit creative on all the stuff that you kind of do with it, photography, modeling as well, and like incorporating all of this to actually help yourself, which is super awesome. Not a lot of people do that. They kind of
I think it just like that's how it all started. Just all helped each like.
these
every
little
aspect
things
of
have
it,
all
just
added
like,
up into this
yeah.
into creating distant culture, man. It's sick. But again, Teahouse 20 for the promo. Be
It'll
sure
be
to
valid for a week. So
running
tell your
for 1
friends,
week.
Tell everyone.
Tell your friends from tonight onwards, from Wednesday to Wednesday.
I'm sure being on this podcast will probably be like Australia's #1
Yeah.
blow
brand
up.
by tomorrow.
Mate, your sales are going to absolutely fucking skyrocket. You're probably going to fucking run out of
I'll
stock.
have to put yous on. I'll be like, boys,
You're going to have to. And
come into the mail, bro.
Yeah.
so by episode 19, it's ran the fuck out. So hurry up.
Get it while it's hot. But no, that wraps us up for tonight, ladies and gents. We hope you've enjoyed, and we'll see you next week as per usual.
Cheer.